Shalom. All praises, honor, glory, blessings, and power be unto Abanawa Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Kal Halalim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone that rule well. And a hearty shalom to the prophets of the body. And shalom to the 144,001 third. May peace and blessings and the spirit of endurance be upon you and your households. Okay. Now, you know, even though sometimes we may think things are static, like water stays in one place and flies start coming on it and insects and things. All right. But that's not the case. Things are moving, things are happening on a daily basis. Okay. Our prophets and elders, the men of Great Millstone, are bringing out video after video after video, vision after vision after vision, whether it's themselves or their family members, which is indicating the return of Yahweh Shai. I've just saved a video right now. So in GMS testimonials, I haven't watched it yet, but it's of one of the brothers, I believe his young child, his baby daughter or his daughter, his young child had a vision or a dream, sort of vision of His Majesty Yahweh Shai returning. All right. And one of the brothers was sent to Jersey, had a vision of brother Arya Shayal. I believe that's the brother's name, who's ill, who hasn't been well. May the Lord Yahweh Shai heal that brother who had a heart attack, had a vision of him being healed. Okay. And all these people that are in the world as well, they're talking about Jebus returning. Okay. And everything, because you know what it is, when people are pushed into a corner and they don't have no optimism and help, and they really, 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 really desire to go back into the world. Okay, because and plus all these videos, and because you got to be spiritual when you look at YouTube giving all these free movies and videos. A lot of people want to bury their heads in the sand, so they don't look at what's really going on in the world, so they can be caught off guard. Loosely paraphrasing the scripture, when they say peace and safety, but sudden destruction cometh upon them like a woman in travail, and they shall not escape. This is what's happening. And plus, they're pumping all these videos and all this bullshit news, so your focus goes in that direction and not what's really going on. Now, there's nothing wrong with having downtime watching movies, but I'm just saying, for the most part, people in the world are just engrossed in heavy drug use to forget about their woes and sorrows, and also reminiscing of yesteryear, of the 80s and 90s, and wanting to go back in time. And this is going to be another push in the direction where a lot of these people want to go back in time so bad. They want to go back to 1985. They want to go back to 1996. They want to have riding bikes and sunsets and beaches and picnics with the family and walking arm in arm with your lady on a nice Friday evening or a Saturday evening, down the high street or down the boardwalk or whatever. Sun is setting, you know what I mean? You've got your drop top just parked nearby, your classic Mustang or whatever, or your Beamer, you know what I mean? You want that sort of world back. And a lot of people are not going to get that back. So what's going to happen is when the financial system crashes, which we are on the verge of, okay, right? People are going to line up for the micro CHIP. They're going to line up. Why? Because they want it back. Because when that's the only avenue open, all other roads are closed. All other avenues are shut. And that's the only one that's open. Okay? The wide gate, right? A lot of people are going to come in droves to get micro CHIP because that's going to be the only option for them to pay their bills, to have some kind of so-called balance in their life, to get access to food, access to healthcare, access to clothes, a roof over their head, access to alcohol, whatever Esau will promise at that time. But that's only for a short duration because that's just a trap and a snare, so they could really get their rope around you, and bring you in, so to speak. That's the bait, all right? And with these energy lockdowns, which are happening in different parts of the world, but they're going to go heavy in the West, in the wild West. We are literally in the wild West. Okay, it was a wild West just in California a couple of hundred years ago. It's going to be the wild West everywhere. Ground Zero Babylon, the UK, Ireland, Scotland, Australia, all the cracker countries where Esau is dominating right now, even though the lands already belong to them, but they're dominating right now. Okay, they're all going to, have their energy lockdowns, which means a further detriment into the financial infrastructure of this world, which means, okay, things are going to explode, implode, however you want to say it, okay? Because this can only go on for so long. and they can't keep printing out more and more and more and more money, and getting to the point where, I mean, steaks already like what I saw a video the other day, $75 or something. Prices are going excruciatingly high for a lot of people. It's frustrating for them. So this can only go on for so long. You can't boil water, all right, forever. Okay, something's got to give. All right, you can't keep pouring more and more and more water. This is going to keep evaporating. So something's got to give. Okay, you can't keep hitting something and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and nothing's going to happen. Okay, the Lord is going to pluck that is planted. Though loosely paraphrasing scripture, the Lord's going to pluck what's been planted, which is Esau's kingdom. Esau's kingdom was planted. Now the Lord Yahweh Bashim Mashah is going to pluck it. All right, and with World War III on the horizon, before that to really take place, okay, because we can see all these pieces coming together. Trump in and UK as well. I made a video the other day of focusing on America and the UK. Right, they're already asking people to sign up. For the armed forces. Okay, so when there is a draft, they have people lined up, ready, instead of at that time when they need you doing advertising campaigns. Because if they need 100,000 people in the front lines, they don't have to go looking for them. They don't have to advertise. They've already got those people named, primed, and lined up with their addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, whatever, Instagram, Facebook. They've done all their deep research on you. They know where you are. They know your family members. They know which family members you got in nearby towns if you try and run. Okay? They'll have information on your passports if you're trying to go abroad and how long you're going for, which country you're going to. Okay? And does that country have some kind of situation where if you go there, they can't extradite you back to put you in the army? Like a lot of people during the Vietnam War bounced to Canada to try and avoid the draft. Okay? So they're going to be watching you. Okay, along with that, with these energy lockdowns coming and the Strait of Hormuz and peace talks falling by the wayside, all right, between Iran and America, okay, the micro CHIP is coming, okay? Because with these energy lockdowns and prices going through the roof and companies shutting down, how are people going to pay for goods and services? It's going to be chaos, okay? Problem, reaction, solution, all right? What's the solution going to be? To subdue society, to subdue people? It's going to be the what? The micro CHIP, Revelation 13:16. Now, this article is or report is from a website called The Accountant Online. Now, it is from August 24th, 2023, but it's still highly crucial because it's information about what's to come. Now, it says here, financial leaders predict employee micro CHIPing by 2030. Me personally, only the Lord Yahweh Bashim Mashai knows, but me personally, and I believe a lot of the elders and prophets will say this, it will more than likely happen before then, okay? Because, the Lord Yahweh Bashim Mashai is speeding up the time for the elect's sake, all right? Speeding up time for the elect's sake, because if the Lord doesn't speed up the time, no flesh is going to be saved, okay? Let me just go to that scripture first. Then I'm going to read the article. All right. Because we can't be, because, a lot of Jake feel tired, drained, and how much more our elders, man, that have been on the front lines for, visibly that we've seen it, all right? Since, because I was born in the mid-70s, so visibly that I've seen it on the internet. You see videos of an elder apostle Tahar from the 80s, 90s, damn near 40 years ago, right? And then the seven heads, and then from Elder Abba Bivens, and the Elder Abba Bivens elders that taught him, because Elder Abba Bivens is John the Baptist, in reincarnation, so forth and so on, and then all the teachers to this day, okay, and you can see, right, a lot of Jake got ailments. They forget a lot. You're thinking one thing 1 second, the next thing you forget about it. You got the your memory, like my memory was real sharp when I was a young man. I would never forget shit. And ex-girlfriends would talk about that because when I would bring up some bullshit about them from back in the day, right? I say, oh, she got, women would say, oh, you never forget anything. Well, yeah, I don't. But, as you get older up in age, You start getting forgetful, and and this is a common theme amongst a lot of the hopeful elect: ailments, back problems, neck problems, shoulder problems, memory problems, you know, and you'll just have this longing in your flesh, in your in your spirit, to leave these chains of darkness, this body. So we know that change is going to come, like that song says, the change is going to come. Okay. And me personally, I believe this micro C hipping, Lord willing, will be happening this year. All right. If not next year, but Lord willing, as soon as possible, because this cannot go on too long. With what's happening, I don't think it's going to last another, was it now, 2026, another 4 more years of this back and forth between Iran and Trump, and this. You're telling me that energy lockdowns are gone for another 2 years before hell breaks loose and before things really progress to the micro seed? I believe, Lord willing, okay, this is only up to the Lord, of course, Yahweh Hashem Hashai, it should happen soon, within the next 12 months, maybe 18. That's hopefully soon, okay? Because 2030 is 4 years away, all right? But that's what a lot of financial leaders are predicting. But sometimes what they try and do is everything's in the hands of the Lord, Yahweh Hashem Hashai. Proverbs 20 and 24, man's goings of the Lord. The Lord, nothing moves, even a leaf, just a simple leaf cannot fall off a tree until Yahweh Hashem Hashai says, you may fall, okay? Or however the Lord does it in his beautiful way, okay? All right? Nothing can happen without the Lord's authority, without Yahweh Hashem Hashai's authority, okay? Okay? So these devils always like to put faraway dates so they can sort of prime a lot of people, saying that, okay, this is what needs to be done in the future. We are in a futuristic world. We are mirroring the world of how the Jetsons used to live in the 60s, FaceTime and all that, and a world where clothes will have no pockets because they won't need pockets because there's going to be no damn cash money. They already showed you in Back to the Future 2. They show you in Jetsons. Them motherfuckers never had no pocket lines if you watch the cartoon carefully. All right, I believe it's been a while since I've seen it, but from memory, they didn't have no pockets on their clothes. Okay, and Back to the Future 2, they talked about what? Wearing your pockets inside out in the future. Why? Because ain't gonna be no damn money, right? So if you put all the pieces together, you can see that this cannot go on for far too long. All right, and Esau, Revelation 12 verse 12, this devil knoweth he hath but a short time. This guy cannot be walking around through the park like it's a Saturday afternoon, strolling, whistling. It's a short time. They've got to do what they've got to do, and they've got to get it done quick. If they have, from their perspective, if they think they've got a fighting chance to get subjection over the world a second time via the New World Order, but they don't realize the Lord Yahweh Shai has set bounds, loosely paraphrasing scripture, that they cannot pass. They can't pass those bounds. There's an expiration date. Milk doesn't last forever. A piece of cake in the fridge don't last forever. Okay, even if you make it fresh from home, it's going to be going off in about 3-4 days or whatever if you don't consume it, right? Everything has an expiration date except the kingdom of heaven and except the eternal rulership of Yahweh Shem Hashai in the kingdom of heaven and the elect and the Israelites in the side to come. There's going to be no expiration date to that. But everything outside of the kingdom of heaven has an expiration date because they are carnal kingdoms and they are heathenistic kingdoms, okay? Matthew 24 and 22. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Look how fucked up the elect feel, man. They feel destroyed daily. It's a chore to get out of bed, but then you have these little beautiful spiritual surprises. Lord Yahweh Hashem Hashai shows you a 555, a 441, a 144, a 444, a 222, a 111, a 333. Beautiful numbers. Okay, to give you that little spiritual to satiate you spiritually, so you can keep going, to quench your spiritual thirst, so you can keep going. All right, might show you a vision or a dream or a spiritual slogan or whatever. It could be anything. You might be driving down the highway or the motorway, and you might see a board saying "Crown Close," or you might see something like "New Beginnings," and it hits you in your mind spiritually, because that's the angel knocking you in your mind saying, "Hello, the Lord Yahweh Hashem is sending you a message." All right. So that's how the hopeful elect are getting through. Okay, each day. All right. If it wasn't for Yahweh Hashem, the hopeful elect would be crashing. out like the rest of this world, because the rest of the world has no hope. If you're not an Israelite and you're not part of the elect, you are fucked with three exclamation marks and underlined in bold in a red marker. Okay, Matthew 24 and 22 again, and except those days should be shortened. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Okay. Now let's go to this one again. So financial leaders predict employee micro hipping by 2030. All right, written by Santiago Bedoya Pardo or Pardo. Okay. Okay, Jake more than likely wrote this article. Latest data from financial software provider Advanced uncovers a rising concern for employee privacy as an uptake in futuristic human implantation technology is set for the workplace sooner than many anticipated. Okay, so it's set for workplace sooner than many anticipated. Now they're probably giving a prediction of 2030, but I believe it'll be sooner. Okay, it'll be definitely be sooner. Right. And a lot of people are going to line up to take it because they want to hold on to their job. They want to hold on to, feeding their families. You got already people getting micro hip now. They're in the army, they're getting ahead of a lot of people are saying, I'm going to get ahead of the game. I want to get micro hip first. So when things do go in that direction, I'm ready. I'm already, I've already got my micro hip in me. They're letting you know that you got to take it. If something's going to happen in the future, in the near future. So a lot of people are reading it. They're taking it on board in their mind, thinking that, okay, cool, this is what we're going to do. And then when it does happen, a lot of people are already ready for it. They're going to take it. And a lot of people that are adverse to it right now will take it because they're going to be pushed into a corner of keeping a roof over their head and food and water in their mouth. Okay. But the hopeful elect, the hopeful elect of Yahweh Bashim Yashai, the elect, they're not going to take it because the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yashai is going to do miracles and provide for them. Okay. The same way the Lord is doing miracles right now and getting us through little situations every day, building up our faith, okay? Building blocks to it to get ready for the bigger trials that are to come, all right? Speaking to more than 5,000 senior decision makers, the findings reveal that nearly half, 47%, of financial leaders predict employee micro C-hips and other human technology implants to be in workplace by 2030, along with 32% of finances overall. Okay, so if they want to get in by, hypothetically speaking, if they want to get in by 2030, right, they want to get subjection over a bunch of people or a lot of people, they would more than likely start micro C-hipping by what? 2027, 2028, all right? But Lord willing, sooner, hopefully this year. Okay, because we got to get through summer yet. Let's see what the Lord does in his beautiful way. Okay, and they already show you in their movies, revelation of the method. They like to talk about it. They like to show you in the movies. I was watching Joe and Jada podcast with John Leguizamo, right? If you've seen his movie Hanging with the Homeboys and what's the other movie? He was a gangster in it with Fat Joe in it. Empire. Yeah, it's called Empire. And yeah, Fat Joe, Jada was quiet. It was Fat Joe and John Leguizamo talking about the Jetsons and movies and shows predicting the future. And they say that it's many science fiction that predicts the future. They're all part of the industry. They're lower level luminaries. They know the powers that be. They know what they can say. They know what they can't say. So it's all set up in the spirit. It's all set up in the spirit that they're going to say, but it's all set up by the handlers on the left-hand side what they're going to say, letting you know. It's all revelation of the method. They let you know in their movies like Upgrade. For example, they already had these successful trials in the UK and America, Elon Musk, with the brain C-hips or the brain implant. Okay. Right? They've got micro C-hips for various people, whether it's you're a paraplegic or quadriplegic, you can't see, you need it for financial transactions. They've got every area covered. All vulnerable people that want a life that's normal, they want their life back, they will line up in droves to get the micro C-hip. Okay, so they want to they want to create the problem, They want to see your reaction. And what the solution is going to be is a micro CHIP. Okay. Speaking to more than 5,000 senior decision makers, the findings reveal that nearly 47% of financial leaders predict employee micro CHIPs and other human technology implants to be in workplace use by 2030, along with 32% of financiers overall. The revelation follows controversy in the US, in which a company micro-CHIP 50 of its employees, leading at least 11 US states to ban employee micro-CHIPing at the time of writing. Okay? They're always going to show that the government or the powers that be are against it, but they're really there for it. Okay? Because they've got to play good cop, bad cop, a tug of war to make you believe, because remember, the world is a stage, right? Right? And so they're going to make you believe that, okay, this is what a lot of people don't want it, but it might be a possibility because of X, Y, and Z and the technological advancement, and this is the way the world is. So if the world is going in that direction, who are we to go against it? So we have to go with the tide, because they've got to feed their families, they've got to pay their mortgage, they've got to keep their car going, they've got to, they've got 5 children they've got to feed, they've got a wife, they got what do you call them? What do you call them? Monthly payments. They got to pay their ex-wives alimony or whatever, however, whatever the situation may be, because people, especially the 2/3 of our people, cannot see a future without Esau Edom's face on the money, man. All right, that's why Zechariah 13:8 has to come into effect, where 2 parts of our people shall be deleted, and the 2 parts in America, and outside of that, the unelect Jakes around the world. Then the Zechariah 13:8, 13:9, and also 1/3 will make it through. They're going to make it through the fire. They already the elect are being purged right now through various ways, and on a measure that the Lord Yahweh Shemashah knows that they can take, only to build up their faith, because we've got bigger fish to fry, man, and it's coming. All right. The elect are good money. All right. If you're not an Israelite and you're not part of the elect, you are FUCKED. All right. Okay. You heathens have no hope at all. At all. You non-Israelites, especially Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right. Okay. This move toward innovative technologies is a growing trend, and one that the financial sector seems keen. They see the financials. Remember, and listen, this move toward innovative technologies is a growing trend, and one that the financial sector seems keen to set into motion. You're damn right they're keen. Okay. The powers that be want to set it into motion. They want to be like the Most High. They want to control you. They want to be all knowing, all seeing. They want to know what your thought processes are. They let you know in that movie. What's that movie called? Criminal Report? No, Minority Report. Where even before you do something, they know it. So if you think about, Esau thinking that he wants to get set up his Elysium, and some people want to go against him, Esau Edom's and they're trying to go against us. Go and get him. They want to be like that. But before Esau even tucks into that plate of the New World Order, before they tuck into that big dinner they think they're going to be successful at achieving, the Lord's going to smack that plate out of their hand, man. They ain't going to get there. Okay? They ain't going to get there. Okay? They're keen to set this into motion. In addition to surveillance measures, advanced research discovered that businesses are putting money behind new tech, as 40% of survey respondents state their organization's leadership is prioritizing technology investment at present. Okay. Technology investment at present. AI technology is gaining more responsibility and will be used to make critical business decisions by 2030, according to over half, 55% of financial CEOs and MDs. Okay. A third, 33% of financial leaders believe AI will replace at least 50% of manual work. Okay. A lot of people are going to be out of work, man. A lot of our carpenters, a lot of electricians, they're going to have literal people, because carpenters and electricians, right? A lot of people might downplay that. Those people make a lot of good money, man. It's hard work. It's a very skilled work, putting shit together electrically, buildings, door frames, doors. My dad's a carpenter, so I know it takes a lot of skill and a lot of hard work, but they get paid well. All right, that's going to go out the window. And who does a lot of the manual work in America and around the world? Israelites. Okay, as Trump would say, the SHIT jobs. So they're going to try to get you, Jake. All right. However, financiers are not looking forward to this change, as only 19% feel robots and AI-based technologies will positively transform the workplace. We've already seen, man, in California and other parts of the world, especially East Asian, Chinese, Japanese places. They're already using robot servants and shit. You know, we already seen robotoid dogs and cyborgs. Okay, what was that? I Robot, as well in 2004 with Will Smith. So in their movies, they already show you how the future is going to be. They're already priming you. Okay, if they showed the world how it was like in 1955 and 1995, all the way straight through up until now, all a hunky dory world, Esau's not doing his job, because even on their religion of Satanism, on the left hand side, they have to prophesy and let you know what they're going to do before they do it. Okay, it's like a code. The way the Israelites, the elect, are spiritually connected to Yahweh Bashim Ashai and understand the truth. The Lord is supping with them. Okay, the same way uh, we, in the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Ashai, the hopeful elect, can see uh, that what Esau Edom is doing on the left hand side. But the rest of the world assumes all these technological movies and Back to the Future, micro C hips and robotoid dogs and iRobot and all that is just entertainment. They don't believe it's going to happen to that extent. This is all entertainment. All right. That's why they're going to get caught. Okay. A lot of hell's going to come on this earth, man. A lot of people are going to get caught. You know, they think that the world is just going to be the way it is right now. And some people are going to be struggling. That's how it's always been. And some people are not realizing that, you know, a huge tidal wave is coming. All right. And it's going to hit everybody. Okay. But the elect of the Israelites are going to be good money. It's going to be it's going to be scary, but the Lord Yahweh Bashem Mashai is going to build up your faith to the extent where as soon as you think that something's going to go wrong, boom, you're delivered. Okay, the same way when the elect are beamed up into the chariots, you could be in ground zero Babylon, America, all right, or you could be in the UK, you know, like before, I don't know, before a rocket hits your house or gunfire or whatever, however it's going to be. I'm just thinking of different scenarios, or before the nukes hit, all right, or before a tank mows down your house or whatever. I don't know. I'm just thinking of different scenarios. The Lord Yahweh Shai is going to beam you into that chariot. Could be a second before, all right, but you're just in that blue beam, and in that blue beam, is a force field around you. So if everything's still chaotic and people are trying to shoot and whatever, nothing can touch that force field. You're going to be beamed up into the chariot. You're going to be good. It's all a test of faith. How much do you believe in the Lord Yahweh Shem Hashai? Okay, that's what it's about. This whole sentence that the elect are going through. All right, spiritual, physical, mental, financial, all these little things that Jake is going through. Right, is all a test. This whole world. Babylon is a prison camp for the elect of the Israelites. Okay, but the elect are going to pass. The elect already passed the first test, which is not taking the juicy juice during the 1-9 thing. The second test is coming. We've already done them. The hopeful elect have already done the mock exam. They've got their main exam to do. Okay. With talk of micro C-hipping and additional surveillance only set to cause more concern, Advanced Chief People Officer Alex Arundale explained how additional surveillance measures could negatively impact the working environment. Employers need to consider the proportionality and necessity of new technologies, weighing convenience against the impact new additions might have on employee morale. Having some autonomy over how they work, when they take breaks, and working at times when they feel most productive is an important part of employee well-being. Feeling under constant surveillance can cause anxiety and increase the risk of burnout, make it counterproductive for the employer. Yeah, that's why a lot of people like working on their own or having their own business, because they don't like somebody constantly looking over their shoulder. When someone's constantly watching you, always got to look busy. The fact remains, you've done your work, and you might be just meditating in your mind because you've done your work. Or you could be taking a 5-minute break because you're already on top of your work. But when you're constantly being monitored, right, with cameras everywhere, or if some people take the micro C hip, they're going to feel overwhelmed thinking that shit, I've got to constantly look busy when this person comes around, or they know everything, So, but the elect ain't going to take it because, the elect, we know Esau's watching because, they watch you through your phones, your computers, there's cameras everywhere, drones flying past your windows and shit. We know this devil's a fucking peeping Tom, man. All right. Here we go. Although it could be a while before we see employee micro CHIPing become the norm, it's not going to be a while no more. We're around the corner from it. Since the pandemics, the C19, widespread introduction to remote and hybrid working, more and more AI and technology driven surveillance has seeped into the workplace from wellness trackers to remote employee monitoring software. The TUC, all right, previously revealed the financial service sector to have the greatest proportion of workers reporting workplace surveillance at a shocking 74%. All right. Anyway, that's where we're at. All right, I'm just going to read Revelation 13:16, and it's basically it's around the corner, okay? All right. It's mentioned here. This is from where we are. The findings reveal that nearly half, 40% of financial leaders predict employee micro CHIPs. All right. They spoke to 5,000 senior decision makers, okay? CFOs, CEOs, whatever, with them kind of people. All right, or even people right at the top. All right, and they're all lower level luminaries, okay? They're all part of it to a certain degree. All right. Nearly half of the financial leaders predict employee micro CHIPing. All right. And what, we're 4 years away from 2030, 3.5 years away from it. All right. It's not going to be long. And it's definitely going to happen within that time, Lord willing. Okay. If it happens in 2030, it happens in 2030. We just got to wait. Okay. But Lord willing, it happens sooner. And I believe, that it will be sooner. Lord willing. Because as soon as that happens, World War III happens, Revelation 11:14, and the Lord Yahushua, His Majesty, is around the corner, man. Okay. Revelation 13:16. Okay, let's go to Revelation 13:15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Okay, doctrine of Esau Edom, their ways, the New World Order, okay, and bowing down to their structure that they're trying to set up. All right. And verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Okay. And the word mark there is charagma, which is insertion or incision into the flesh in the Blue Letter Bible. Okay. Which means a cutting into the flesh. All right. They've already got you Jakes primed anyway with needles because they push that tattoo culture heavy. So a lot of you Jakes are okay with needles and septum rings and piercings in crazy places. All right. And having needles put on you, you're already used to that. So they've already got you used to it. And tattoos are against the law anyway, against our culture. But a lot of you Jakes, don't know about that and getting tattoos in droves. And you're already primed, and a lot of you are going to take the micro C-hip. All right. Now, Jakes in the world, Jakes in the truth, that got tattoos. I got tattoos, but that was almost 30 years ago and 20 years ago. I haven't got none done since. And once you find out that you can't get tattoos, you don't get tattoos done no more. All right. I'm talking, but those people that are still getting them and covered and their faces are covered, and who comes to mind, that rapper Blueface. The guy's crazy, man. These youngsters, man. These wines are crazy. The whole face is covered. Looks like a damn 1970s school. It looks like like my high school desk. In the 90s, early 90s, it was fucking etched, and Johnny was here. 1984, or like a scribbled wall, like a bathroom wall. Like a graffiti. Just not nice graffiti, just disgusting graffiti. Even if it's nice graffiti, it's still, that's what their face looks like. So a lot of you are going to take it. All right. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, and free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand, right hand or in their foreheads. Okay. The brain C-hip, the micro C-hip. Okay. And Verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay? How are you going to buy and sell? Okay? It's going to be a bleep. You're going to have it's going to be like a debit or credit card, but it's going to be in your hand. All right? The same bleeping you do with your credit or debit card, it's going to be in your hand. Okay? All right? There ain't going to be no phones either. All right? The phone could be in your hand as well. All right? A lot of people, a lot of you, especially people that are real tech heads, you're going to take everything Esau's giving you. Verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is a number of a man, and his number is 603 score and 666. All right, that's why a lot of these barcodes in the UK, I don't know about America or Canada. It's been a while since I've been there. I didn't really look at the receipts too heavily, but I'm sure it's the same here as the UK. All the barcodes here in the UK have 6 at the start, 6 in the middle, and 6 at the end. Okay. Let me just get I want to find out what is a brain implant called, man. There's a specific term for it. What's it called again? Yeah, a neural implant. A brain implant is called a neural implant. I believe it's called, right? Is it a neural implant? Type in. The Neuralink, yeah. Brain implant. Yeah. Microchips, brain implants, all these different technologies. Same technology, but, operate in various different ways, Maybe these devils will probably come out with one microchip which will cover every aspect, And they've got various microchips for various ailments of some people, whether it's their eyesight or their body. And then they've also got one for the financial infrastructure as well, for buying and selling. They've got various, so they've got various areas covered for people that are going to be vulnerable. They're going to be so gung ho and forthright in terms of holding to what they have, holding and or improving their life and maintaining their lifestyle and trying to take it back to a world they once knew, which they grew up in, which is not going to ever come back for a lot of you devils. Okay, because this is your time now. You better enjoy it while you got it. All right. But a lot of people will take this because, this is all they have. They don't have nothing else. But the elect have Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, all right? And greater things are coming for the hopeful elect, all right? The elect have nothing to worry about. They're covered, all right? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there now. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Rakak. And Lord willing, man, time speeds up faster, hasten the day, and things kick off, and this financial infrastructure collapses, and Esau introduces the microchip quick, okay, and World War III kicks off, and then our Lord, His Majesty Yahweh Shai will return. Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakak Kodash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwam Yashrala, Shalom.